If you have a sluggish thyroid, hypothyroidism, a low thyroid function, here are 5 natural tips to help to boost that low thyroid. Okay, tip number 1 is something that I love. It's relatively free and is super effective, and it's contrast hydrotherapy. Well, what does this mean? That means getting a bowl of very hot water, as hot as you can stand it, and a bowl of very cold water, and a face cloth in each bowl. Now you're going to start with the warm water, wring out that face cloth in the hot water, and then you're going to apply that to your thyroid for up to 2 minutes. Then you're going to apply the cold one right after. That's the contrast. What the hot water does is it expands, it dilates the blood vessels around and in the thyroid, and then the cold water causes constriction. So effectively what you're doing with the contrast hydrotherapy is you're increasing that blood flow and that pumping of the blood through the thyroid, which is really effective at boosting up its power to help, especially if you've got the symptoms of a low thyroid. So you've got loss of energy, you could have dry skin, constipation and slow bowels, moodiness as well, low mood, and of course that dreaded weight gain. You want to boost that thyroid. Well, this is a natural way to do it. Okay, tip number 2 for that low thyroid is to get more natural sunlight exposure. I think too many of us spend our lives indoors under artificial lights. We're not getting the natural full spectrum light from the sun on our thyroid, in our eyes, which of course is going to regulate our brain and all of our hormones and all of our clock mechanisms. Yes, we do have clock mechanisms in all of our organs, in our thyroid, as well as our brain. So getting that natural sunlight exposure is telling the body, number 1, that we're not in a panicked and a stressed state. That's going to have an effect on your cortisol levels, but also it's giving signals to the thyroid as to our temperature regulation, what time of day it is, what season it is, all regulated by that natural sunlight exposure. So making sure that you're getting outside. Don't always cover up your thyroid when you're outside. That means sunscreen. That means the makeup as well, ladies. We don't want to be applying that over our thyroid. We want to expose that natural sunlight to this area of the body. Okay, tip number 3 is to do some red light therapy. So if you're not getting enough natural sunlight exposure, red light therapy has been proven to be really effective for boosting up that thyroid. Okay, tip number 4 is to fix your leaky gut. Now this is important, especially if you have Hashimoto's, so this is the autoimmune component of having a low thyroid. It often stems back to that leaky gut syndrome. And we have something called tight junctions in the gut. And ideally they're nice and tight together. That's why they're called tight junctions. But with leaky gut syndrome, for whatever reason, those tight junctions have opened up. And now we have the immune system reacting to things that it shouldn't be because it's not being filtered properly through that gut wall. And this is where Hashimoto's often originates from. So doing things to fix that leaky gut syndrome is super important. There are certain nutrients. I actually take a specific protein powder to help with my leaky gut that has been really, really effective to seal up those tight junctions and make sure that, again, I'm getting enough protein daily as well. Okay, tip number 5 is to use some very specific nutrients and herbal medicines to actually feed the thyroid. So the thyroid is dependent on things like iodine, and that's why taking in kelp or Ascophyllum nodosum is really important to get some whole food iodine to actually make your active thyroid hormone. That comes from the Ascophyllum nodosum. So I have a little acronym here for my favorite nutrients for the thyroid. It's called TAPA. So it's T, tyrosine, which is an amino acid, of course, needed by the thyroid. A, ashwagandha, which is an adaptogenic herb, and this is great for balancing cortisol levels. It does help with low thyroid as well. P stands for plectranthus barbatus for Scully, and this is going to help with the active conversion of your T4 to your T3, your active T3, your active thyroid hormone. And we already talked about the kelp, the Ascophyllum nodosum makes up the A for TAPA, and really important to get enough iodine. A lot of people actually don't get enough iodine in their daily diet, and then their thyroid is struggling. Now I do talk more about leaky gut syndrome in another video. I want you to learn more about that, and please check out this video of mine, 8 leaky gut tips you need to know. I'll see you there.